Hello, everyone, and welcome to this important episode of Ignition Time. Welcome to our channel, everyone. My name is Dr. Chhoda, and if you're not a subscriber yet, please consider clicking the like button, clicking subscribe, and enabling notifications. I'm going to give you the latest news as it emerges from Washington, D.C., and I'll always give you the truth wherever the truth might lead us. In addition, I'll help you plan for the post-pandemic economy. My name is Dr. Chhoda. This is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I was able to overcome the cycle of poverty, and I'll help you overcome the cycle of poverty. Let's start by examining what's going on with the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. If you've been following our channel, the Ignition Time channel, I did do an episode where I broke the news about the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, essentially calling for a pause in the infrastructure negotiations and saying, hey, we don't need $3.5 trillion. Well, folks, House Speaker Pelosi, the most powerful Democrat in Congress, said, thanks, but no thanks. Here's the headline of an article on your screen from CNN. Pelosi rejects Manchin's call for a pause and shows little willingness to pare back the $3.5 trillion bill. This is what House Speaker Pelosi said to CNN. Obviously, I don't agree. And this is what House Speaker Pelosi said. The number is the number. 3.5 trillion. We can't go above that. And she was asked whether she'll go below that level. She simply said, why? Folks, this is a sign of a showdown, if you will, a clash between House Speaker Pelosi and the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on one side, and on the other side, the conservative Democrat from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, and Senator Kristen Sinema of Arizona, who both have said that they don't support a package as large as this. When she was specifically asked about this, House Speaker Pelosi said, well, you have to go talk to the Senate about that, but we're going to have to pay for as much of it as possible. Folks, the Democrats are in a very, very difficult situation right now because they have all these priorities pertaining to the social safety net. They want to ramp up government spending on key democratic priorities like healthcare and climate change, and they want to raise taxes to pay for all this. But behind the scenes, Democrats are struggling to find consensus on a whole range of issues, including the expansion of Medicare, which progressives want. In fact, House Speaker Pelosi downplayed all of these disagreements, and she said that the bill would be, I quote, transformative for women in the workplace. She said this, I quote, I'm pretty excited about where we are. Everybody's working very hard. The committees are doing their work. We're on a good timetable, and I feel very exhilarated about it. So you can start to see that House Speaker Pelosi is trying to ram this whole thing through. But on the other hand, Senator Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema have actually said that they will not support a bill with this huge price tag. In fact, Joe Manchin said he will not support, I quote, anywhere near that level of additional spending. House Speaker Pelosi last month did actually negotiate with moderate Democrats, and she said that she's going to pass the $3.5 trillion bill. She said that's the plan when she was asked about the September 27th infrastructure vote that's coming up at the end of this month, because this is a high stakes month for the Biden agenda, as many Democrats have set a deadline of September 15th to finalize this $3.5 trillion reconciliation proposal, and September 27th, which is the other deadline to vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the $1 billion infrastructure bill. So folks, clearly, there's a lot of back and forth that's going on. And House Speaker Pelosi did not say how Democrats would address the debt ceiling hike and whether they would try to attach it to other bills. But she said they'll try and get it done. And House Speaker Pelosi also said this: we'd like to do it in a bipartisan way, of course, and that's how it's always been done. The question is, how will they get it done? Of course, House Speaker Pelosi kept her cards close to her chest, and she said, I quote, we have several options, and she's referring to the reconciliation package. She said, so we have reconciliation, infrastructure, CR, and someplace in there we'll do debt ceiling. So this means, folks, that House Speaker Pelosi is trying to get as much support as she can from the Democrats in Congress and in the Senate, in the House and the Senate, that is. And now we'll have to wait and see whether she can actually get it done. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about the hardball, this dismissive tone taken from Speaker Pelosi towards Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. The fact is, they are not going to be able to pass anything, the Democrats, without the support of both Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. I want to know what you think. The fact is, folks, those two votes are absolutely necessary because remember, the Democrats need to get to 50 votes in the Senate, and that includes the votes of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, in addition to progressives like Bernie Sanders and the independent Senator Angus King. His vote is absolutely crucial as well. Without this, the Democrats will never get to 50 votes. And remember, the tie-breaking vote in the event of gridlock in the Senate, which is highly likely, is going to be cast by Vice President Kamala Harris. So the Democrats find themselves in a rather tricky situation where, on the one hand, House Speaker Pelosi can reject Manchin's call for a pause, and she can, on the one hand, show little willingness to scale back to compromise on the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. But the political reality of this situation is it doesn't matter what House Speaker Pelosi says. What matters is whether there'll be enough votes in the House, which there will be because the Democrats have a majority, even though it's a very narrow majority and they can't afford to lose more than 3 House votes. But in the Senate, remember, a bill has to pass both the House and the Senate, and then when it's signed by the president, it becomes law. If something cannot pass the Senate because Joe Manchin and because Kristen Sinema are not voting for it, we now have a situation where the entire Democratic agenda is in trouble. And I can tell you that that is indeed the case right now without the support of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Now, House Speaker Pelosi can project calm, can project defiance, can project confidence, but I promise you, behind the scenes in Washington, D.C., there must be panic amongst the Democrats. In fact, consider this an episode of the D.C. Comedy Hour. And yes, folks, despite what House Speaker Pelosi says, this is panic from the Democrats. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. This right here, once again, is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I appreciate you watching. I work very hard on this channel every single day to bring you the latest news, and I encourage you to click the like button, to click subscribe, and to enable notifications. That is your way of supporting our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.